Okay, some supplementary information for those on the Introduction to Psychology for Sport module. Had our first session yesterday, which was the first of 6 sessions. This was more of an introduction to the module session, specifically this part of the module. Having said that, we did delve into a number of issues around adolescence and the process of adolescence in relation to participation in sport. I'm putting this together to highlight the structure of the subsequent sessions that we have. The structure wasn't set in stone before yesterday, because I wasn't sure exactly how many people were going to turn up and how we might structure the sessions. But as we talked through the module, it became clear that there was a number of things that were going to happen. So I'm just going to highlight those for you now. The start of each of our sessions will be given over to a 10, maybe 15 minute discussion of the connections between the main body of the module, which is the Intro to Psychology, and sporting contexts, and to address any issues that maybe are unclear from the lectures. So it's a way of making a connection and bringing the other part of the module, the Intro to Psychology part of the module, into the Intro to Psych for Sport part of the module. What we're then going to do is group work, because I want to keep them in a kind of workshop format rather than just have you doing another set of lectures on top of the ones you're already getting. So the workshop will require a number of things. First of all, it will require you to have read some of the focus articles. It isn't going to work unless you've done some of that reading. And the readings will all be on Blackboard. They will all be PDF files, so you don't have to go seeking them out. You can just click on them and there they are. My expectation is that you will read through the articles. You will highlight a number of salient points of interest, points of controversy, points where you might not understand what's being said there, points that you think, well, that's really interesting and I want to talk more about that. So you will come to the sessions prepared. You'll have read the material. You'll come with a set of questions, observations, commentaries, if you like, on the articles that you've read. What will happen then is, dependent on the number of people there, you will be divided into smaller groups, and you will be given 20 minutes or so, maybe 20 or 30 minutes or so, to actually discuss what you have gleaned from the articles that you've read, with a view to, as a small group, putting together 5 or 6 points that you want to throw into the discussion that we generate when we come back as a large group. So typically, I think it might be that there are 4, maybe 5 small groups working for say half an hour, coming back together. I will act as chair, make note of the different sort of comments, and we'll see what kind of discussion we can generate. The discussion will be focused because the articles will be focused themselves. And what I will be able to feed into that, one is a kind of continuity and a drive to make sure there's some sort of coherence to the discussion, and also to throw in what my experience as an applied sports psychologist and my understanding of the extant literature, the literature that's out there. The purpose of this is to generate an in-depth, enjoyable, interactive discussion, so that you can take away from that not only some very specific specialist knowledge from the research that's been generated in sports psychology, in the sports psychology literature, but connections between that and the material you're covering in the Intro to Psychology module. So for this to work, it requires you to have done some reading. For this to work, it needs you to come prepared to share your thoughts. What it doesn't require is for you to have an in-depth understanding of all the articles that you're presented with, or the chapters from text you're presented with. That will come over time. So I thought I'd put this up because it was slightly disappointing that Probably over a third of the group weren't there yesterday. It is what it is. It is important that you engage, because from a very mercenary point of view, from your perspective, there are assignments at the end of it, and you need to pass this in order to move on to next year, where you will be joining me for the level 3 module. Okay, looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.